Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a controversial view. Today we're going to be talking about Prisoners. Now, Prisoners is a movie that I was introduced to from my daughter. She had mentioned something about wanting to see it. So when it came out for rent, we rented it and we all watched it. And to be honest, I thought I had a copy of the film, but I couldn't find it. So Joe sent me a DVD. And right after he sent me the DVD, I found this Blu-ray, which is supposed to be really hard to find. So I picked it up. I also haven't seen this film since I originally saw it with my family. Seems like so long ago, but I remember the movie sticking with me. And the crazy thing about this film is it's not really considered a horror film. Now, maybe you have to be a certain demographic to consider it a horror film, but I do. I have a daughter, and if you're a parent, this film should shake you to your core because it is literally worst case scenario. Now, the controversial things about Prisoners is the fact that it actually was a 3 hour film that was cut down to 2 hours and 33 minutes. Now, that cut gained an NC-17 rating, and they had to cut it down in order to get an R rating because there was extra scenes of torture, um, suspected child abuse, sexual child abuse. I think it was alluded to, and stuff like that, stuff that was very hard to watch. This movie in itself is extremely hard to watch. And to be honest, I mean, I know I have a daughter, and of course, I see things a little differently than some people who don't have kids, maybe. But this is just a tough film. It kind of forces you to make some really big judgment calls, moral judgment calls. And the interesting thing is, you have Hugh Jackman's character, who is the father whose daughter got kidnapped. You have Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who is the cop who's never lost a case. So, as he's working on the case, Hugh Jackman is not happy, of course, being a father who loves his child, with the progress that the police have made. So he decides to take things into his own hands and captures a young man with the IQ of a 10-year-old and proceeds to torture him until he gives up some kind of a answer to where his daughter is. This film has a way of making you feel uncomfortable from the very beginning to the very end. And that's rare in films. But the most controversial thing is actually the maze on the Blu-ray cover. I couldn't solve it. I'm just kidding. Trying to lighten the mood a little bit. This movie is really tough watch. It induces panic in me, and I know it does in Joe as well. So much about being uncomfortable and wanting answers and wanting, you're rooting for, of course, the police to do what they're supposed to do. But I found myself also rooting for the father who just wants to hurt somebody. And he thinks he's doing the right thing. And if that's not controversy, I don't know what is. This film has that way of making you feel that big time. As I said, this film is a very tough watch. So watch it at your own risk. Um, this film definitely brought back a lot of memories from that time period in my life. And it's a film that stays with you. There are certain parts in this film that you just can't unsee. And that's very powerful in a film like this. And how Jake Gyllenhaal, um, Hugh Jackman, and the rest of the cast, everyone is fantastic in this. Terrence Howard's in it. Maria Bello, I believe, is her name. It's just, it's an amazing cast. And how this film did not get any Academy Award nods is just beyond me. So watch it at your own risk, but don't forget to check out Joe's controversial view for Prisoners. Physical media matters. Until next time, peace.